Safety Committee meeting.
I will call the Health and Safety Committee meeting to order at 6 p.m. Members present are Dan Wireball, Steve Young, Mark McKeever, and myself, Chair. The first item up is public participation. Is there any public participation for health and safety this evening? Seeing none, our next item up is approval of the minutes from July 21st, 2022, regular Health and Safety Committee meeting. And those are here in the packet.
I'll be adding the audio link, by the way.
That was my only question I was going to ask.
Yep.
So we want to wait until we get it put on, or can we just leave it on?
I'll leave that to you guys.
I'll make a motion to approve these with the audio link added.
I have a motion from Mr. Wireball to approve these with the audio link to be added.
Second.
Second by Mr. Young. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed the same. Motion carries. Open projects. I had asked the administration to discuss the issue of the tree lawns and the responsibilities of trees, and they were supposed to be digging me up some history on that where it was discussed a couple years ago, and I've not gotten anything back from them yet. So are there any other open projects?
I will for sure have the list for those. I'm so sorry. I did not get those out, like the open projects list.
Oh, we've got
Oh, we can get them off.
Okay,
Yeah.
I was gonna
Documents
update
on
them
demand.
again. I'm sorry.
Yep.
Yeah, but I have one thing, and this is kind of for the law director's office, not for him in particular, but hopefully. And it's all concerning either vacant buildings, dilapidated buildings, and but what I was getting at was Rob Ratliff had worked, did quite a bit in the past, working on simplifying the property maintenance code. I see one of the things in here said he would have that by 2019. I don't know if that's in process, if we need to do that. And the other thing was the occupancy permits and the vacant, what was the vacant building ordinance. And it's not a rush job or anything, but if your office could get that stuff back out to us so we could start looking at it and get that, because I just don't want it to just,
Sit there and do nothing.
So I passed that down to him. That's our open projects. I highlighted the ones that may have something to do. Maybe your Alyssa can dig that stuff up. I'm assuming it's there somewhere.
Right.
So that's all I have.
All right, thank you. Mr. Young, do you have anything else to bring up?
No, sir.
Mr. McKeever?
No.
Mr. Wireball?
I'm good.
All right, is there any further public participation for health and safety? Hearing none, I will adjourn at 18:03.
Okay, it is Thursday, August 4th, 6:04 p.m., and this is the Finance Committee meeting.
And I will call finance to order at 6:04 p.m. Members present. Here we go. Kevin Myers, Terry Spiegel, Mark McKeever, and myself, Chair. Is there any public participation for finance?
Vicki DeShawn, 1108 Hillcrest Drive, Bucyrus. On July 20th, I emailed to the Clerk and Council corrections to be made to the June 23rd Finance Committee meeting minutes. The corrections were confirmed by the audio recording of the meeting. At the July 21st committee meeting, Chairperson Wireball made the following statements. 1, I looked at the corrections and all I see were things that were added. 2, if someone wants the entire dialogue of the meeting, the recording can be found at the top of our minutes. 3, I don't see why we need to keep jumping around if it's not a big deal. 4, I see nothing in here that's going to make any difference. The things that I added were the answers given in response to Myers' question of why it, meaning my lawsuit, was on the agenda. The things that I removed were statements not made on the audio recording. As I stated at the July 19th council meeting, the Ohio Open Meeting Act states that a public body must keep full and accurate minutes of the meetings. The Ohio Supreme Court has held that minutes are inaccurate when they contain inaccuracies that are not corrected. The Ohio Open Meetings Act also states a public body cannot rely on sources other than their approved minutes to argue that their minutes contain a full and accurate record of their proceedings. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public participation? All right, we'll move on to approval of the minutes for July 21st.
And audio link will be added to all these, just for everyone that's going to see this.
Okay,
I move to accept.
with the audio link
Yes.
added? Okay.
We all listen.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. And next is, I'm trying to get this back.
Appropriations.
Appropriations, yeah, I knew it was, but I didn't. Appropriations. Here.
Okay.
Oh, there it is.
We received, just this week, a couple more donations, so we need to appropriate these items to the general fund. Program 1, Security of Persons and Property. Police Department, we have $1,850 to materials and supplies, and $2,540 to capital outlay. The addition to materials and supplies is from donations to fund police explorers, and the addition to capital outlay is from donations to fund the K-9 unit. We've already received these funds, so we just need to get them in the proper lines.
Okay,
I'll make a motion to, as an emergency, to appropriate these.
Second.
motion from Mark McKeever, second by Kevin. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Excuse me, that has to go on, did you say as an emergency?
As an emergency.
Did you say it?
You did.
As an emergency, okay. Okay, we're all in favor? So that passes, was that it? That's all you had for us, Joyce?
No, I have
Oh, okay. Oh, we had
have-
this. What was this?
a revision that needs to be made to the appropriations ordinance we passed the other night. We need to repeal and replace, because I messed up. I had too many things going on in my head, I guess. I take full responsibility for it, but in the caption, third line from the bottom of the caption where it says contractual services, that needs to be changed to materials and supplies. That is in the unappropriated solid waste funds. And then on page 2, in section 5, fourth line down, contractual services needs to be changed to materials and supplies. And then the final line in that paragraph, it says if increase not approved, we'll have to cut to $7,000. That needs to be taken out. That really has nothing to do with this piece of legislation. It was just for my notes and information for you guys. Then on solid waste, somehow I put Fund 760 instead of 750, so that needs to be corrected. And then the object number should be 24 and materials and supplies. All the other numbers and calculations are correct. It's just I put it in the wrong object line, so.
Do we know what ordinance number this was passed as?
Didn't write it down. I can get it for you.
I should have caught that, because that was about the $15,000 they were putting in, going to buy stone and stuff. And I was like, really? Is stone really going up that much? I was asking about that.
This was ordinance 30-2022.
Thank you. Mr. Chair?
That's me.
Oh, yeah, that was last year.
That's why you didn't get an answer.
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to request legislation to repeal and replace ordinance 30-2022 with the changes that have been supplied by Joyce.
And that
As
will
an emergency.
As an emergency, yes.
Still be an emergency, okay. I have a motion from
I'll second.
and a second from Terry. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No? Okay. Open projects, I don't, oh, there was something, what was it? Oh, okay, that wasn't for this meeting. Okay. Anything in open projects? Nothing? Any other public participation? Okay, thank you. If not, we will adjourn at 6:11 PM.
Okay, it is Thursday, August 4th, 6:13 PM, and this is the Public Lands and Buildings Committee.
All right, I'm going to call Public Lands and Buildings Committee to order at 6:13 PM. Members present are Dan Wirebaugh, Kevin Myers, and myself, Sierra and Sheriff Chair, and Mr. Brendan Potter is absent. All right, first on the list, do we have any public participation? Seeing that there's none, I'd like to ask if there's a motion or ask for a motion for the approval of the minutes from July 21st.
I'll move, as long as we know that the audio link will be included in that as well.
Audio will be there. Yeah.
I'll second that with the audio link.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, motion passed. All right, next on the list, do we have any open projects to talk about this evening? All right, seeing as there's none, is there any more public participation? And there's none of that, so I will go ahead and adjourn the meeting at 6:14 PM.
Okay, it is Thursday, August 4th, 2022, and it is 6:15 PM, and this is the Planning Committee meeting.
I'll call plating to order at 6:15 PM. Members present, Kevin Myers, Dan Wireball, Terry Spiegel, and myself, Chair. Any public participation?
Vicki DeShawn, 1108 Hillcrest Drive, Bucyrus. On June the 7th, I informed council that the plat map identified in ordinance number 21-2022 dealing with the annexation of property owned by our interim law director and his wife and presented to council for approval did not contain the correct legal description. I stated then, and I state again, I have no problem with Mr. Gernert and his wife annexing their property into the city. My concern is that it be done properly. However, council ignored my concern and passed the ordinance. Today, I secured a copy of the plat map recorded at the Crawford County Recorder's Office on August 2nd. The statement appearing on the plat map above the council clerk's signature states the following: I hereby certify that the council of the city of Bucyrus, Ohio approved the plat and description shown hereon at its regular meeting on the 7th day of June, 2022. Since the plat map approved by council was not the recently recorded plat map containing the correct legal description, council, in my opinion, placed their clerk in a position to falsely sign the certification, because what she signed that's not what happened. Again, the certification states, I hereby certify that the council of the city of Bucyrus, Ohio, approve the plat and description, the description that's on this plat, shown hereon at its regular meeting on the 7th day of June, 2022. This plat is not what was in your council packet and is not what is attached to Ordinance 21-2022 and on documents on demand. I truly hope this is not how council believes things should be handled, and I ask how you plan on correcting this problem.
I've asked our attorney.
So the plat that was included is a copy of that plat map, but it had the east and the west thing screwed up. But the description that was included in the annexation is the proper description, and the actual plat picture is the proper plat. So taken as a whole, it's been run through the commissioner's office, it's been run through the engineer's office, it's been run through the Secretary of State's office. I believe
This is what was run through all the offices that,
Everything was run, that plus the petition.
except this is
I
not what
understand
was
that.
run through council. And this is the plat map, but on the plat map is the legal description. This legal description is correct. This is not the plat map that council approved. And it's not the map that's attached to the ordinance that's on your documents on demand. That plat that was approved by council, and again, I brought it up to council's attention that night before they held their third reading, this description isn't correct. And again, you know, Megan is stating, I certify that the council approved the plat and description shown hereon, meaning hereon, this description.
They did,
No, you didn't, or no council didn't.
they did. I appreciate your time, though.
How can you say that, though, Mr. Gerner,
If you
when,
look at the entirety of the packet, that's absolutely what they approved. You think council tried to annex something in Indiana?
what are you coming up with, Indiana?
The air that's contained in there would make that property exist in Indiana. Council did not try to annex anything in Indiana. The West Range would be somewhere out in Indiana. That's not what council tried to do. Council annexed a property in the East Range, which would be over there on West Mansfield Street. And if you look at the legal description that was attached, the plat that was attached, and that plat, plus everything that they approved, it's the property on West Mansfield Street, not Indiana. I thank you for your concern, though.
No, you don't.
I just said I did.
Well, I'm sorry, but I don't believe you. I sure hope council's not going to go with this. I mean, you need to look at your papers. This is not what council looked at and is not what council approved.
Do any of you have any questions?
Nope.
I digress to Mr. Gernert if he has any further advice or anything for us.
No, I mean, if you look at the original petition that contains the property description, it clearly states that it's an attempt to annex in the West Range, the East Range, which would be in Crawford County, not the West Range, which would be in Indiana. The plat that everybody else approved and the clerk approved, and the picture is all correct. There's an east-west error in the copy, which is an exhibit, but that's not what council was contemplating. Council was contemplating the property on West Mansfield Street.
I appreciate you asking Mr. Gernert, you know, for his opinion, and I'm assuming legal opinion you're asking for. But need I remind you that Mr. Gernert asked for council's permission to hire outside legal counsel to handle his annexation matter because of a conflict of interest, and that attorney was John Andrew Motter. So, I mean, I don't think, you know, I don't think you should be asking Mr. Gernert his legal.
Well, I already spoke with Mr. Motter on the day of the.
Okay,
that
and may
was
I
brought
ask
up.
what he had to say?
He said it was an error that was easily to be corrected and it was okay to vote on, was his advice.
It was an error. I'm not sure if I understand easily to be corrected.
I'm not a lawyer, so that's why I look at the lawyers to help us understand.
All right.
Okay. For you, you have the minutes for July 21st and August 1st.
Both will have the audio links included before we get to that part.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions? If not, can I ask for a motion for the July 21st meeting?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Okay. Have a first from Dan, second by Kevin. There's no other discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passed, unanimous. And for the special plating committee meeting, which was Monday, August 1st. Is there any questions? If not, do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Okay, I have a first from Terry, a second from Kevin. If there's no other discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passed unanimous. I need a open project list, if you can send that to me.
That I will do.
I need that, I'd like to have that this week if you can. If anybody has any information on the open projects that they'd like to discuss, you have the floor. If not, I will ask for if there's any other public participation. If not, I see no one. I will adjourn at 6:24 p.m.
Okay, it is Thursday, August 4th, 2022, 6:26 p.m., and this is the Economic Development Committee meeting.
Okay, and for the second time, I will be calling Economic Development Committee to order at 6:26 p.m. Members present, Aaron Sherrick, Steve Young, and myself. Acting Chair, Brenton Potter is absent. Is there any public participation for economic development? Okay, no one here for that. You have before you a copy of the minutes. If there's no-
Audio and voting included.
and you'll have the
I'll make a
audio.
motion to accept the minutes with the audio included.
Okay,
Second that.
all right. No other discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passed. Does either one of you have anything in the open projects you'd like to discuss?
Not tonight.
Okay. With that, is there any public participation? Okay, none being, I will adjourn at 6:27 p.m.
Okay, it is Thursday, August 4th, 2022, 6:28 p.m., and this is the Service Committee meeting.
I'd like to call the Service Committee meeting to order at 6:28. Members present are Steve Young, Aaron Sherrick, myself. Brenton Potter is absent. I'd like to ask the public, is there anything that they would like to say at this time? Seeing none, we'll approve the minutes. Yes, Mr. Wireball.
Yeah, I just, Dan Wireball, 1092 Martha Avenue. This one, I don't know if I elaborated at the meeting Friday or not, but, or not Friday.
Monday.
It was Monday, wasn't it? I knew it was a
Yep.
different day, but I'm just looking forward to Friday, I guess. Anyhow, last week my office sits across from the EV charger we have. So, that's why I asked to put this into service or into council to see how we could get some money for this. So I contacted Economic Development, whatever it's called, the partnership, because I know they were handling that, and they gave me a little bit of data on there. Anyhow, let's see if I can read my own notes here. So in March, they got $50 from that chart. Well, anyhow, what started this was I'm sitting there doing some stuff, and there's a car waiting for the charger. Okay, there's a car waiting for the charger, so he pulls out, and I'm thinking, well, that thing must be getting some use. So that's what got me thinking about this. Anyhow, in March, they got $50. In July, they got $200. Okay, that's 300% increase, all right? I guess this is called unique drivers, but I think it's new drivers. They went from 7 to 15 in that 2-month period, which is 100%. And then sessions, I guess this was, they gave me she gave me their desktop or whatever it's called, and so they had 12 people that came in March and used it. They had 39 in July. So that's, I think that's like 200% or more. Anyhow, they went from 19 people using it to 39 in 1 month, okay? And I know that don't sound like a lot, but there's funding out there for EV chargers right now. We need to, I've been trying to get the administration to look into this. I'll work with economic development or partnership and see, if they can get some more of those here. But I think I think when they came up, they said that by 2030 or 35, which really isn't that far away, that we'd have like 50% of the cars on the road are going to be electric. And just from watching commercials and stuff on TV, you can see how it's. I just don't want Bucyrus to get behind, because if you have those, they'll stop here. If not, they're going to drive down to Marion, or they're going to stop in Attica or wherever on the road here to get charged. So just wanted to bring it to attention, get it on open projects, and so when you get to that on there, I guess we've talked about it. So
I know there's also one up at the hospital.
yeah.
There's one up there, so do they run that one, do you know?
In the notes that she sent me, one of the notes was that it was down for repair at one point, and they suggested to use the one at the hospital.
Okay.
That's all I knew.
Okay.
But
If I may.
Yes.
So I reached out to a couple contacts at AEP, and they're going to be getting more information, but they're going to give me a list of private investors, and then also the major utilities, AEP, First Energy, Duke Energy. They're all kind of collaborating together and looking at main corridors, main highways through the state, of adding these chargers in different locations. So like being that we have, Crossroads 430, we might be a recipient of those.
right.
So,
yeah, perfect place would be out of Pickwick at
Right.
at Bob Evans or somewhere like that. And
So I talked to them yesterday, a few of the people at AP, and they just wanted me to get more information on what you were looking for. So now that I heard what some of your topics are, I can go back to them and explain what's going on, and then we can work together, try to get some contacts.
Yeah, that would be great. I just brought it up because I think it needs to get in there, and we need to start talking about it rather than wait till the last minute when people are driving by and won't stop here because they can't.
Yeah, there's private companies out there, or private investors that will come in and put almost like an EV island,
Yeah,
where you'll just have multiple chargers. It's one, almost like a gas station, but you're not dealing with all the EPA concerns, just a charging station. So there are private investors that look for opportunities like that. So we could probably see if we can
any
invite them in
information would
and
be great, yeah.
go from there.
Excuse me, Dan, did they tell you a price for one of them, for one of those chargers, what it would be?
I don't know, and like I say, I don't know what.
Kevin?
The grant that the partnership got, I believe the cost for that was $94,000, if I remember correctly.
For the one,
The one that's at Square.
Yeah, you're probably right. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know if we want to get into the EV.
did they just buy
charging
one of those
business.
with those?
It's a dual, it has two, it can do two vehicles.
Did they, that seems awful high for those, though. Was there more put over in Galleon on that grant, do you
No,
know?
that was the only grant.
This
they
is just,
did.
it's
That-
individual, but they're expensive.
Okay,
So, okay, just, like I say, just. wanted
Okay,
to
thanks,
bring it
Dan.
up. Thanks.
yep. Any more public participation? Seeing none, then we'll go to the minutes. Approving the
Audio
minutes.
link will be included.
Huh?
The audio link will be included.
Okay, be included in. Okay, you have the minutes before you for the July 31st, 21st meeting.
I had one correction that I saw.
Okay.
On the second page, 6th line down, it says Sherrick stated, but actually I asked.
It was supposed to be no, I'm sorry.
It says Sherrick stated, but I actually asked. I confirmed it. I asked them, and they're like, yeah, that's correct, about the, keeping the solid waste in our hands. I was like, so this
Okay.
keeps in our hands, and they
Okay.
said yes. So that was
Okay.
actually a question.
Okay.
But yeah, other than that, I mean,
Okay,
and I'll make a motion as amended with the audio added to approve these.
okay, we got a second by Aaron. All right, first by, motion by Aaron, second by Steve. All those in favor, vote usual sign.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, we already discussed the EV chargers. You want to say anything on those, Aaron, at all, or?
Nope, I'm learning new stuff.
Yep, I think it's a good idea to pursue that and see what we can get with it, so. Okay, open projects. Do any of you have the open projects list? No, okay. We will, you gave it to me one time, and I've got it at home. I'm gonna make sure these guys get that, so. Okay, anything else? Public participation? Seeing none, we're going to adjourn at 6:35 PM. Meeting adjourned.
Okay, it is August 4th, 2022, 6:46 PM, and this is the special ad hoc committee meeting regarding rules and procedures.
Okay, I will call ad hoc committee to order at 6:46 PM. Members present, Kevin Myers, myself, Jenny Vermillion, and Aaron Sherrick. I want to do a brief explanation. The motion that was made Tuesday was from a mistake that we made, and on October 19th is when we, during our council meeting, we made the ad hoc for council rules and procedures. That was started then. We had our first meeting on the 21st of October. The next meeting, we had a special council meeting on November 4th, and that's when we did not have a council clerk. So we, at about 7 minutes and 15 seconds into the meeting, we made a ad hoc hiring committee. That's where we made our mistake. So our next meeting we had was on 12/9, and that was for the ad hoc hiring, and that went for 2 minutes and 30 seconds. We rolled right into rules and procedures. That was an overlook because at that time on November 4th, that's when we knew James Mead was not going to be able to be on council. And I didn't think correctly to make sure it was ad hoc to cover both of them. We made the mistake. And it took me a while, Vicki. I tried to find this. I just want to let you know.
You just asked.
But I mean, I wanted to look and find, and I wasn't ignoring anything. It took me time to find it, and I found it. So what we need to do is, in order to, since there were motions and other legislation we were discussing, motions made or seconded, and Jenny was included in made or seconded different motions. I don't have the actual ones in front of me. I didn't go that far. We need to have a motion made to make it retroactive to whenever those motions were first made. So I'd say make it retroactive to our first ad hoc committee meeting, which would be October 19th. So
So the motion would be to approve retroactively to October 19th actions taken by the ad hoc committee pertaining to council rules and procedures.
Would we need it to go back that far, or just to 12/9 when the mistake was made?
well, we could, that's why we're asking, would 12/9 be sufficient? Okay. So
So I would move to approve retroactively to December 9th, 2021, all actions taken by the ad hoc committee pertaining to council rules and procedures.
And do I have a second?
Yes, I'll second that.
Okay. There, no other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Public participation. Are you wanting to, or you want to discuss when, as we get, okay. Just let you know that there was public participation. All right, we have in front of you the minutes from January 20th and April 21st. We'll do January 20th. And it does have all the documents on demand and
Yeah, the links are there.
the audio link to it. So, is there any questions? Any corrections? If not, although I need a motion for that.
So moved.
And I have a motion from Kevin. Do I have a second?
I can second that motion.
You can. You seconded it?
Yeah.
Okay. If there's no other discussion, all those in favor?
Hold on. She had her hand up.
No, I'm sorry, I didn't see.
How about the minutes
Hey,
for January
can-
27th?
I don't,
Can you approach the podium? Sorry.
I'm sorry.
so they can hear you on the audio.
Sure.
I can't hear you at home.
Vicki DeShawn, 1108 Hillcrest Drive. Now, we're approving,
January 20th.
and what happened to January 27th?
That we'll have to look, I don't have that.
Because I have a copy of that in front of me, and that's in between January 20th and the April 21st. In fact, if you look at January 20th, those minutes stated, minutes were presented for January 6th and January 10th, and they were approved. Then you come along to Thursday, January 27th.
I have them. They just, so I had to go back through and
Mhm.
try to find all the minutes in the drafts, instead of just printing them out, which I should have done. Because I did it originally, and it's probably in that draft.
But I don't think those have been approved yet.
No, they're not.
They're not approved.
No, no, no.
Okay, great,
They're
that's
just
what
on
I'm
the
finding.
packet,
Okay.
But I can, are we able to
Are
add
you able
them?
to email those to us?
Yeah, if we're able to, definitely I'll forward it.
Did you not already email it once?
I did, but I'll forward it so no one has to look for it.
Or when did you send them?
It would have been January 28th.
Oh, yeah, could send them again.
I'll just forward them. I'm just gonna send it to ad hoc though.
Well, we'll go on with the 20th. We got a motion, first and second. All those in favor, say aye. Motion passed,
Do you
unanimous.
want me to just pull up on here for you?
Let's do the April 21st while she's sending out the other one to us. Does anybody have any questions?
Was there, I'm sorry, did you guys vote on April 21st?
Not yet.
Okay.
No.
We're in.
We're looking at it too. Did anybody have any questions, corrections?
I'll make-
Number 5, you got changed, it's a typo. You
Oh,
put
yeah.
recessed economic development, so you got to change that. It's the very last sentence.
Good eye.
Got it. And I just, I'm sorry, was new.
So you made a motion here,
Yes,
as amended,
as amended.
second.
Okay? Hearing no other discussions, all those in favor say aye. I only heard one aye. Aye? Okay, I can't hear you, Aaron. All
Sorry,
right.
I'm.
That's all right, that's
I'm
okay.
looking for the new email to pop up at the
Okay.
same time.
All right, we have those 2 minutes. Okay, here's the next one. January 27th.
There's no audio link on there yet, will that be added?
It is on my actual desktop, it is on there, but this was just the draft I sent out that day, so.
Nothing else has changed from that draft?
Nope, just the audio link was added. Right?
I'll move to approve with the addition of the audio link.
I'll second that.
Okay, if there's no other questions, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passed unanimous. All right.
I second.
Yes. Okay. One reason I wanted to call this meeting to order, the minutes, Kevin brought up a good point as we were discussing. We're going to ask Megan to go with the, how you call it again? For the council clerk.
So, yeah, Mark had brought up the idea that we reach out to some other communities to continue looking at their rules. Can you reach out through the OML and have them send a message to all the council clerks to send in their rules and procedures? That way we're not just going all over the place. If you can send one message to the OML and have them forward them all to you, and then we can review them.
Okay.
You're wanting, okay, I heard the OML thing, I'm asking them for what, I'm sorry?
Their copies of rules and procedures.
Okay,
Okay, and specifically minutes.
just specifically for a minute?
Well, and we'd like to have any copies of, a copy of several of the different minutes on how they, I want to get this buttoned up and done, that we can get some examples so that everybody can look at them. And when you get them, I want them emailed to all of us and put it on public documents so that she has access to it,
Okay.
or anybody else has access to
Maybe,
it.
could I suggest that we give her 2 weeks to get whatever comes back in 2 weeks? That way she's not emailing one at a time. So
No, yeah, don't, yeah,
Give it a 2 to 3 week period and then send us collectively what you get during that time.
because we can have this meeting, because Bratwurst Festival's not going to be a good time, we can have it in September,
Yeah.
so that we can have time to look it over and get inputs.
May I ask a question?
Yes.
When you're asking for rules of procedure that the other municipalities are using, are you talking about this document?
Both documents.
Because the other one is called Rules of Council. That's where I think we've been sort of having some issues on the purpose of the meetings, because, like I say, this is Rules of Procedure. That's what it's called, Rules of Procedure for Bucyrus City Council. This is the one where it's not in legislative form. It's where council passes and said, this is what the citizens need to do, this is what council needs to do, this is how we're supposed to act, da, da,
Or
da,
really
da,
for
da.
decorum type.
Right.
Yeah.
Then your rules of council, that's in legislative form. So there's really,
I would say ask for both.
yes.
Yes, that's what I'm wanting. I want both.
Well,
I don't think we clarified that point.
no, because we just said rules of
Yeah.
council, and that's why I'm up.
Sure, that's fine. I'm meaning both.
Oh,
And the other is, rules of council is 111, then you've got 113, which, is that in this packet?
What we.
113 deals with ordinances and resolutions.
Right.
You know, the procedure on
Posting
how,
of legislation, formal step-by-step
Right, is
legislative
that-
procedures.
another requests that you're wanting Megan to do of other municipalities, or is that not a concern?
I think collectively it makes sense to gather all of that.
Yep,
Yep.
okay, thank you.
Mark, do you want to verify before she sends it out, like maybe see a draft of her email?
Yes.
So you know that it covers everything you're asking for.
Could you make, Megan,
Yeah,
before you send that, please send it to me and I will,
Send him the draft of your email that's going to go out to the OML so he can make sure that you're requesting everything that he's looking for.
okay.
so that we make sure we cover everything.
Okay, should we do the deadline once they respond though? Because if they don't respond right away.
I don't think you should give them a deadline, I just think you ask for it as soon as
Well, no, what I'm
possible.
saying is like a deadline from once they respond, rather than making.
Well, I think once you get,
As to how we're gonna react.
once you get several and when we decide we're gonna have another meeting, I think whenever that meeting is, you just get them to us a couple days
Okay.
ahead of time, I think is fair enough. I don't think you need to put a deadline on a piece of paper right now that we don't even know. when
That'll
we're
give them
gonna
time to get it together and,
Okay,
Because that's when the next full council meeting is.
August 6th.
You're not gonna get anything back by the 16th, so the next.
meet. We're talking about September anyway.
we're talking September, we're not going,
August, it is September.
Yeah.
I know, I was confused, it was like, that's like 2
Well,
days.
see, I got August pulled up and September's at the bottom, so
September 6th?
there.
Okay. Yeah, I'll draft it up tonight.
okay, that'd be great.
That would give like.
And, you know, we can look at what our schedules are in September to, you know, we can probably have it, if nobody objects, like around the 22nd, which is our second committee meeting. That give us ample time. You get it to us, and we can look at it and get input from our other council members on what they think also, and also our law director to help us see something that can be beneficial for us. Okay, anybody else have any questions, or you wanted to talk about something?
Yeah, actually, the 111.18, order of business. I've been looking at the fact that, we come in, we call the order, we have the invocation and the pledge and the roll call, and then we go straight into approval of minutes and approval of public hearing, and other minutes. But in all honesty, when we had talked about this before, we'd switched it for the committees, but we had neglected to switch it for full council, going ahead and putting the visitors speaking prior to approving any minutes. And that was something that we had gone over, but it didn't get changed in the full council.
Okay, that could be a thing we can look at how the others do it, and we can see to move it up, like you're saying.
Because it makes a lot of sense to have it ahead of time, because if there are corrections, if you didn't notice it, but somebody over here did, or, you know, it's good to have that before we pass it, and then, you know,
So-
retroactively fixing things is,
When we make changes to this, it doesn't require any legislation. So why don't we change that right now?
That requires legislation.
Does it?
Yeah, this is, yeah.
Oh, you're right, it's
Does-
111.
It's
does
111.
does it require legislation to do a temporary act while
No.
adjusting?
Yeah, I take my statement back.
Well, no, I mean, but does it require legislation for a temporary,
Yeah, we have legislation that says this is what we will do, so.
you know what I'm saying, like if we
You
were.
can suspend the rules.
We can make a motion to suspend the rules, but
At each meeting, right?
we'd have to do it at each meeting.
Yeah. I say that if we're gonna make some other changes, then we'll do it all at once, then.
But let's wait till we see the others and not make, because it does cost money every time we
Right,
make
well, that's what I was wondering,
legislation.
if we were to make a motion to do a temporary fix where I wasn't sure if we could do something like that prior to actually making a legislative change.
You'd have to do it at each
You
meeting.
would suspend the rules at each meeting to alter the
Order.
order of the.
And we forget about it, then
Yeah, I'd rather-
Right.
we make another error, and we don't want to do that. Anybody, any of you three here have any questions?
As a whole. Wait till everything comes in, let's get one change.
Okay. All right, I agree. Is there anything else anybody wants to discuss? Okay. All right, with that, I will adjourn at a ad hoc committee at 7:05 PM.